Alright guys, welcome back to College Buddy. So what I want to do is answer another question for you guys. So this is going to be another Q&A question that I want to answer for you guys and everything. So our question today is, why do students feel the need to show up sick in college? I'm going to go ahead and repeat the question. Why do students feel the need to show up sick in college? Okay, I'm put down my notepad and pen here, and I'm going to answer you guys' question. So for those of you who have been following my channel, and if you're new to watching my videos, that's completely fine. So guys, what I want to say is I've graduated from college, so, I know a lot of things about college. I know why it is that people may feel the need to do this or that. I don't know everybody's experience, but I know what I've experienced in college, and I would want to just pass on some information to some of you. So the reason this person asked about why college students show up sick, and they could be a college student themselves, or maybe they're going to be maybe they're a teacher, or maybe there's somebody who's going to be starting college soon and that's what they've noticed. Okay, so what I can tell you guys about college is this. And in this particular case, I think this person's asking this question. I don't know who they may be. They could be a teacher. I don't know. So to answer this question, I'll say this. There are some classes in college where you have to be at every single one of these classes. And you'll find this out on your first day of attending this class, whatever class you have. It doesn't matter what kind of major you have. You may have an instructor that says you have to be here every single day in order to get the notes for this class. Because if you're not here one day, then on that day, I may have a pop quiz, or I might have, notes that I'll give you guys, and I'm only going to give you guys one opportunity to get the notes. And a lot of times these instructors will kind of scare you into showing up to class every day. And so you have some people in the class who feel like, they have to show up, and it's because the instructor has told them, which an instructor in college is basically just a teacher, okay? So it's basically the instructor telling them that they have to be at every single class. And so these, a lot of these students feel like they have to be there. I've been in classes in college where teachers have said that. They'll say you have to be here at every single class, and the teacher could be, male or female, okay? And they say this, all right? And I've had teachers who've identified as LGBTQ as well, okay? And so what I want to say is that students feel they need to show up to their classes in college because the teacher has set that expectation. And the teacher will say, if you miss one day of class, some teachers will tell you don't come back. And that's rude and sensitive and mean of the teacher to say that. And I think that, and it depends on if they're mean or not, because some teachers can be mean and they just want to scare you out of their class because maybe they don't want to teach you anything. Okay? And then there are some teachers who are upfront and tell you, don't miss a day of this class because I'm not going to be going back over the content. Because you have to understand, in college, the teacher isn't just a teacher. That teacher may have other classes that they're teaching. So they're not just teaching your class. They're probably teaching other classes. In high school, you may have a teacher, they only may teach one class. But when it comes to college, you have your teachers in college, what people call instructors, may teach more than one class, okay? And they are not going to want to, if you come to their office hours, which office hours are basically where they have time during the day where you can come and ask them questions about class when they're not teaching a class. And some teachers have their own offices, some don't. And so they may meet you in like, common areas at the college and stuff like that, or at the library where you can ask them questions, okay? So typically a teacher is going to tell you where their office hours are going to be located, what those hours are going to be that they're available, okay? So that can be helpful. A lot of times you'll find this information out about office hours on your syllabus, so that's why it's super important for you to keep that syllabus. So your syllabus is going to be that class outline that you're going to get the first day of your class, okay? And so you want to make sure you get that. If you're not there the first day of the class for whatever reason, please ask your teacher for that. Ask them to email that to you so you can have that available. For some college classes, you may have the option of getting the course outline before the class. I would say you really want to check with your instructor to make sure that's the most current and up-to-date course outline or syllabus, because sometimes your instructor may change that outline. It may not just be, even if the teacher teaches that same class every year, it may not stay the same for certain activities or tests and exams and things you guys are going to be doing. Okay? I feel so good telling you guys all this because I've been wanting to share my experience about college, and I'm like happy to be sharing this. So the reason why a lot of students feel like they have to show up to class is because the teacher sets the expectation, whether they're being mean or not, And so it's just something where, you really have to ask your teacher, and a lot of times teachers are going to be outright and say, hey, you have to be here every day, because this is when you're going to get the notes. You're only going to have one opportunity to get the notes. And if you're not able to show up to class, definitely, before you have to, miss a day of a class, meet some friends in college and, ask them, meet friends in college so that you have people who can take notes, and then you can copy their notes down when you're in class the next time, or they can email you a copy of the notes that they got, So that's why you want to make friends in class, because you want to have people who can give you the notes. Now, not everybody's going to take down notes like you. The way you take notes, the way they take notes is going to be different. So you might want to, ask a few people in class for their notes so that you can make sure you get the fullness of content from the class and information, because some people barely write down stuff. Some people write down a lot of stuff, okay, as far as class is concerned, Some people write down everything from class, and some people write down a minimal amount. And you want to make sure you get as much information as possible so that you have the notes from that day that you missed, okay? And you may miss, 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. If you're going to be missing more than 3 days, definitely before you're going to miss a day, definitely tell your instructor. If you are sick, then, reach out to your instructor, let them know what's going on, and ask them, hey, did I miss a test? Did I miss any notes? And your instructor may be likely to send you over the PowerPoint slides and stuff from class, so you'll have that in case you're sick and stuff, These days, there's a lot going on as far as allergies and all types of other illnesses are concerned these days. And so, your instructor, I'm sure, will be happy to provide it. Now, some teachers may not, because they may be mean. But, for the most part, teachers are going to be likely to want to work with you, especially if they know that you're sick, or they know you're going through a circumstance or whatever, that you have to go through. What if you have to go to jury duty? If you have to do that and you have to be, you have to attend that, then, let your teachers know. Like if you know something's coming up where you can't be there, if you have to, let's say you have to be a part of a wedding, or let's say, a family member of yours passes away, and you know you're not going to be able to be in class for a day, let your instructor know. If there's an emergency, let your instructor know, hey, this is what's going on. This is why I'm not going to be here. Let them know. If you're in the hospital, let them know. Or have someone in class to let the instructor know, so they know what's going on, so they don't just think that you're just a student who doesn't care about the class. And I think if you can tell the teacher what's going on, they're more likely to be helpful and supportive. Even if they told you not to miss a day, but you have a circumstance where you miss a day, then by all means, if anything, tell the teacher. Now, if the teacher's just mean and they don't care, maybe you're in the wrong class, okay? Maybe, and it may not be you, it could be the teacher. But your teacher deserves to know, so that they can work with you. And most teachers are going to work with you. Even if they said don't miss a day, they're still likely to work with you as long as they know what's going on, because the teacher may be concerned about you. When they see your desk is empty and they don't see you there, they may get concerned. Especially if you're not there for a certain amount of days, and they may wonder, did you skip out on a class? Are you coming back or whatever? And so I would say, just let your teacher know, especially if there's something going on that they should know. Especially if you're going to a funeral, or you're in a hospital, or maybe you're caring for a loved one, maybe you're a caregiver, then please let your teacher know so they can work with you. And I would say the sooner you tell a teacher, the better. Now, you can't control when a family member is going to pass away. You can't. If you have a loved one who you are taking care of, in your caregiver, and you're helping out, maybe someone in your family used to do the caring of the loved one, and now they can't, and your family's nominated you to take on the role, tell your teacher. Let them know. Let them know so they can work with you, and they can provide you the information. And they may make an exception for you to say, they may not tell other people in class, but they may say, well, hey, I understand how hard it can be. Because, your instructor may have been through the same thing. Your instructor's probably heard a lot of different stories about different things. And if anything, if they're very caring, they're going to want to work with you. They're not going to want you to fall behind and stuff and everything like that. Especially if you're somebody who you're an active participant in the class, and you're there and you're demonstrating, you're the best and things like that. Now, if you're sick and you're showing up to class and you're contagious, don't subject anybody else to being sick. Please, please, please don't do that. If you know you're contagious, like if you have a fever, don't show up to class, because you don't want other people to get sick from you, okay? You don't want that, and your teacher's not going to want that. They're not going to want you to show up if you have a fever and stuff and you're contagious. They're not going to want you to do that. Even if they said be there every day, let your teacher know, hey, I have a fever of this amount. My doctor says I'm contagious. Let the teacher know, because they're not going to want to get sick, and they'll say, okay, hey, I will send you these notes and stuff. Or they'll say, we'll work it out. And most likely they can have you come to office hours. They may go over the lecture again with you. And they may be more likely to, just work with you on it, and, there's teachers, and they have hearts, and they care, and, they'll be glad that you didn't show up sick, especially if you're contagious. They will be very glad that you didn't. If you show up contagious and you show up to class and then they find out you're contagious and stuff, and you've been there for 30 minutes, they're going to tell you to go home, And I think it's a lot more caring and considerate if you let your instructor know what's going on, and tell them if it's a day before the class and stuff, or a night before the class, and you're sick and you're contagious, send your instructor an email. Let them know, or, a day before, a couple days before and stuff, and you're still contagious on the day of your class. Before your class, let your teacher know. If they have a phone number, or you can text them, let them know so they can kind of prepare stuff for you. And most likely they'll let you do makeup tests and, pop quizzes and exams. They may most likely let you do that, but you have to let your teacher know. You know what I'm saying? So That's my answer to this particular question for you guys out there watching. Have a great rest of your day.